On a sun-scorched dirt road in a remote Senegalese village, a boy sprinted barefoot, kicking up clouds of red dust beneath the blazing African sky. In his hands, he clutched not a store-bought football, but a ragged bundle of rags tied together with old plastic, a ball only in imagination. Yet to him, it was priceless. His name meant nothing to the world then, but the fire in his steps, the stubborn determination in his eyes, and the dream pulsing inside his chest were impossible to ignore. This is the story of Sadio Mané, more than a football superstar, more than a name on a jersey. His journey from the forgotten village of Bambali to Europe's grandest stadiums is a living testament to resilience, courage, and the belief that greatness can rise from anywhere on earth. Born on April 10, 1992, Sadio grew up in a large, close-knit family where every day was a battle for survival. The village had no luxury, no safety nets, no guarantees. His father, an imam and a respected figure in the community, passed away when Sadio was only 7. That loss carved a wound in his heart and left the family struggling even more. Yet amid the hardship, something else grew stronger. Sadio's unwavering love for football. He played barefoot on uneven, sun-baked fields, the ground so rough it sliced his feet open and left scars he still carries today. The balls he chased were stitched together from whatever he and his friends could find: old socks, plastic bags, strings, scraps of cloth. They weren't perfect, but to Sadio, they were symbols of possibility. Every goal he scored, every celebration echoing across the dusty fields, wasn't merely joy. It was a promise whispered to himself. One day, I will rise above all of this. One day, the world will hear my name. Bambali was beautiful, but dreams there rarely traveled beyond the village borders. Life followed a strict rhythm: farming at sunrise, school at midday, chores at dusk. Football was seen as a distraction, something children would eventually outgrow. Study first, adults warned. Football won't fill your stomach. Many saw ambition in sport as foolish, a fantasy not meant for boys from humble villages. But young Sadio saw the game differently. To him, football wasn't an escape. It was a doorway, perhaps the only doorway, to a better life. And then came the moment that changed everything. In 2002, Senegal's national team stepped onto the global stage of the FIFA World Cup and shocked the world by defeating reigning champions France. The entire country erupted in celebration. Radios blared, drums echoed, and pride surged through every village, big and small. For 10-year-old Sadio, crowded around a flickering TV screen with neighbors, it was a revelation. He saw men who looked like him, men from villages like his, standing tall before the world, fearless and magnificent. It wasn't just a football match. It was proof. Proof that impossible dreams could bloom in even the harshest soil. Proof that a boy from Bambali could dare to dream loud. From that day, something ignited inside him. A fire, a hunger, a conviction that no obstacle would break him. Chasing that dream required sacrifices few children could imagine. His family worried endlessly. They feared he was setting himself up for heartbreak. They wanted him to stay grounded, stay realistic, stay safe. But Sadio refused to let fear shrink his future. He trained relentlessly, morning, noon, and night. He skipped meals so he could practice longer. He ran from village to village to join local matches, sometimes sprinting miles under the punishing sun. Friends remember him returning home drenched in sweat, legs trembling, clothes dripping, but smiling like he had just touched the sky. Because in his heart, he had. That smile carried a message louder than any words. I will make it. Just watch. By his teenage years, his talent was undeniable. But so was the harsh reality. Bambali had no professional coaches, no academies, no scouts. Opportunity wasn't coming to him. If he wanted a chance, he would have to chase it himself. The gap between his dream and his circumstances felt wider than ever. At 15, that gap became a leap. He made the courageous decision to leave everything behind: his family, his village, the only life he had ever known, to pursue trials in Dakar, the bustling capital that felt like a different world. With nothing but determination, a small bag, a pair of worn-out boots, and a heart brimming with hope, he stepped onto a bus and into the unknown. That moment marked the beginning of a journey that would take him far beyond Senegal's borders, to European stadiums, trophies, global stardom, and the hearts of millions. Sadio Mané's story is more than a football tale. It is a testament to belief, resilience, humility, and the power of dreams born in the humblest corners of the world. From barefoot games in Bambali to the biggest stages of world football, he proved that greatness does not depend on where you start. It depends on how fiercely you chase what matters. And for Sadio, the journey had only just begun. It wasn't an easy decision, not for Sadio, and certainly not for his family. Dakar was hundreds of kilometers away, a journey that felt less like a simple trip and more like a crossing into another world. He had nothing to bring with him, no money, no connections, not even a guarantee that he'd be given a chance. His family's fears were not unfounded. Many young boys had left the village with dreams blazing in their hearts, only to return months later with their hopes extinguished. But Sadio was different. His resolve was unshakable, carved from years of sacrifice and fueled by a belief that fortune favors the brave. With only a small bag of clothes slung over his shoulder and his battered boots tied together at the laces, he stepped onto the bus. The journey was long and unforgiving, but he pushed forward, sometimes relying on the kindness of strangers, sometimes on nothing but grit. He stared out the window as the familiar fields and dusty roads of Bambali faded into memory, replaced by sprawling towns and endless highway. When Dakar finally materialized before him, it was overwhelming. The capital pulsed with life, cars honking, voices shouting, markets buzzing, a sea of faces moving in every direction. It was a world built on speed, ambition, and opportunity. But Sadio didn't come to admire the skyline. He had one mission: to chase the dream that had carried him from his village to this chaotic city. His first destination was Academia Génération Foot, Senegal's renowned football academy. It was known for producing some of the nation's brightest stars and for having standards as high as its reputation. Getting through the gates was another battle entirely. Hundreds of hopeful boys lined up, each chasing the same few coveted spots. Many came with new boots, clean kits, and polished appearances. Sadio arrived in tattered shorts and weathered shoes, instantly drawing skeptical glances. "Look at him," some whispered. "He won't last a minute." But doubts vanished the moment he stepped onto the pitch. Despite his humble appearance, Sadio played with a ferocity and grace that turned heads instantly. His speed was electric, his footwork sharp, his energy seemingly endless. Coaches watched with widening eyes as he darted past opponents, created chances, and played with a hunger that spoke louder than any resume. On that pitch, he wasn't the boy from Bambali who arrived with nothing. He was a rising talent with something undeniable. After a grueling trial, he earned a place at Generation Foot. It was the first time his dream felt solid, tangible, within reach. Life at the academy, however, was no fairy tale. Training sessions were intense, the competition fierce, and every day brought new challenges. But Sadio thrived. He absorbed every lesson, every correction, every demand. His discipline was relentless. While others sometimes complained or cracked under pressure, he stayed focused, motivated by the memory of dusty fields back home and the sacrifices that had brought him here. And soon whispers spread. Scouts from Europe were watching. For a boy who once chased a ball made of rags, it seemed almost unreal. Then in 2011, the breakthrough came. Generation Foot's partnership with French club FC Metz opened a door many dreamed of, but few ever walked through. Sadio stepped through it. Leaving Senegal for Europe was surreal. Snow-covered streets, unfamiliar language, different food, and a level of football that was faster and more tactical than anything he had experienced. In January 2012, he made his professional debut for Metz, a struggling League Two side fighting for survival. But even in a team battling adversity, his talent could not be contained. His blistering pace, bold dribbling, and fearlessness quickly drew attention beyond France. 2 years later, his journey took another leap. In 2014, he signed with Red Bull Salzburg in Austria for €4 million, a significant step for a young African player. Under Salzburg's intense high-pressing system, Sadio flourished. He became a key figure in their attack, delivering clinical finishes, lightning-fast runs, and an unyielding work ethic. His performances helped the club secure both the Austrian Bundesliga and the Austrian Cup. Europe's top clubs had begun to notice the young winger from Senegal, who seemed to grow stronger with every challenge. But the next chapter would elevate him further. Later that same year, he transferred to Southampton for £11.8 million, entering the Premier League, the world's most competitive and scrutinized football stage. At St. Mary's, he quickly made headlines. On May 16, 2015, he etched his name into football history by scoring the fastest hat trick the league had ever seen, 3 goals in just 176 seconds against Aston Villa. The world's spotlight swung fully onto him, and then came the defining leap. In 2016, Liverpool signed Sadio Mané for £34 million, making him the most expensive African player at that time. Under the leadership of Jurgen Klopp, he became a cornerstone of one of football's most feared attacking trios, joining Mohamed Salah and Roberto Firmino. His impact was immediate. His speed terrified defenders, his pressing disrupted entire backlines, and his creativity electrified Liverpool's attack. Overnight, he became not just a star, but a symbol of Liverpool's rebirth. From a barefoot boy sprinting across the dusty fields of Bambali to a global superstar conquering one of the world's toughest leagues, Sadio Mané's rise defies the odds. His journey is not simply a tale of talent. It is a story shaped by courage, sacrifice, humility, and an unbreakable belief in the power of dreams. Every step he took, every sprint on scorching fields, every goal celebrated with youthful joy carried the weight of a dream that refused to be silenced. But what truly elevates his story is what came after fame, how he chose to use his success not for personal luxury, but to transform the very village that once shaped him. One of Sadio Mané's most extraordinary contributions is the modern hospital he built in Bambali, valued at over €455,000. Before its creation, villagers had to walk or travel long distances for even the simplest medical needs. Pregnant women were often carried to faraway towns on motorbikes. Treatable illnesses became life-threatening due to lack of timely care. With his hospital, Bambali gained its first real lifeline, a facility equipped to handle emergencies, provide maternal care, and deliver treatments that were once out of reach. For many families, it didn't just change healthcare, it changed destiny. His next mission was education. Remembering his own childhood struggles and the uncertainty that shadowed his early years, Mané invested €250,000 to build a school worthy of the young minds of Bambali. Today, classrooms once filled with outdated materials now shine with new desks, textbooks, and trained educators. Children who once studied under dim lights or outdoors now learn in a nurturing environment that inspires ambition. Beyond infrastructure, Mané funds scholarships for top-performing students, allowing them to attend universities in larger cities, a rare opportunity that can alter the course of an entire family. And yet, his generosity extends far beyond buildings. Every single month, he provides €70 to each family in Bambali, money that helps cover food, clothing, medicine, and other essentials. This is not charity performed for cameras or headlines. It is deeply personal. Mané knows the weight of poverty, the feeling of going to bed hungry, the uncertainty of tomorrow. He refuses to let the people of his village bear the hardships he once endured. Faith and culture are pillars of his identity, and he invests in them with equal passion. He financed the construction of a mosque in Bambali, giving the community a sacred space to gather, pray, and celebrate. He also pledged funds for a stadium, finally giving his village's young athletes a proper field to sharpen their skills. For many of these kids, the sight of the stadium's progress is more than exciting. It symbolizes possibility. It tells them, your dreams matter. Mané's generosity reaches far beyond Senegal's borders. During global crises, he has stepped forward without hesitation. In 2020, as the world battled COVID-19, he donated £41,000 to Senegal's health ministry to support emergency medical response, protective equipment, and public health campaigns. Whether it's disaster relief, medical aid, or community projects, Mané understands a principle too often forgotten. Success becomes meaningful only when it uplifts others. What makes all of this even more extraordinary is his humility. Despite earning more than most could dream of, and possessing a net worth exceeding $50 million, Mané's lifestyle remains remarkably simple. When asked why he avoids flashy cars or extravagant clothes, he offered a now-famous response. "Why would I want 10 Ferraris, 20 diamond watches? I prefer to help my people." He chooses practicality over luxury, purpose over image. In a world where achievement is often measured in possessions, Sadio Mané offers a different definition of greatness, one rooted in impact, empathy, and service. His legacy will not be confined to the goals he scores or the trophies he lifts. It will live in the hospital that saves lives, the school that shapes futures, the families lifted from poverty, and the dreams awakened in a new generation. From a boy who once chased makeshift balls on village soil to a global icon inspiring millions, Sadio Mané embodies one timeless truth. True wealth is not found in what you keep, but in what you give. Sadio Mané's story isn't just about football. It's about resilience, sacrifice, and the power of using one's success to lift others. From dusty fields in Bambali to stadiums filled with millions, his journey proves that dreams can rise above any circumstance. But what truly sets Mané apart is his humility. Despite wealth and fame, he has never forgotten where he came from. While many chase luxury and excess, Mané chose impact. He built hospitals, schools, and mosques in his hometown, giving the next generation opportunities he never had. In his own words, "Why would I want 10 Ferraris, 20 watches, and 2 planes? What will these do for me in the world?" For Mané, true success isn't measured by possessions. It's measured by the lives he touches. Today, he stands as one of Africa's greatest football icons, a Champions League winner, a Premier League champion, and a 2-time African Player of the Year. Yet perhaps his greatest achievement isn't on the pitch. It's his ability to inspire millions. He shows that greatness isn't born from comfort. It's forged in struggle, fueled by belief, and sustained through generosity. So what can we learn from Sadio Mané? That no dream is too big, no village too small, and no obstacle too great when passion meets perseverance. His journey is a beacon of hope for anyone daring to dream beyond their circumstances. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories of legends who changed the game and the world.